What's the biggest takeaway from the AllStar Weekend, Reg?
You texting me at the start of the festivities saying this is painful.
It was. Okay. It went on too long. It wasn't funny. And then I said, this is painful. And you go, no, it's Hollywood.
I didn't say no, it's Hollywood. I said, ha, 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 it's Hollywood. Let me just say this. As a Turner employee, we are not responsible for – we're only responsible for the game. So
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you.
The Kevin Hart thing, that's all the NBA and NBA entertainment. Fergie, that's all the NBA. Pharrell at halftime. We're only responsible for the game, which is on our network. So, you're acting like we put that show on.
No. It was just an observation that I knew that you were observing. If somebody didn't see it, how would you describe the pregame?
I would say it had its moments. Like, personally, I loved Kevin Hart's introduction of the All-Stars. It was off that was funny because he was in his element, and the reason why it wasn't so funny is because a lot of his jokes were inside jokes because the players were cracking up because he knows all of them and he was kind of clowning them. But people in the audience or watching at home had no idea because most of the jokes were inside jokes for the players.
Well, how about some outside jokes that I could have laughed at? Because the inside ones I didn't laugh at.
And I will say this, being in front of Fergie and listening to it, it wasn't as bad as people at home, I'm sure, were making it out to be. Did it have its Marilyn Monroe-esque feel to it, singing to John F. Kennedy? In moments it did. It sounded like she was going to burst into happy birthday, Mr. President.
All right, the Danettes gave me grief because I said, why was Kevin Hart crunching down when if he stood straight up and Donovan Mitchell jumped, like, that's not mean-spirited. I'm just saying if he's...
No, not at all. He said there was no need for any of them to scrunch down because he had cleared them by, 3 or 4 feet?
Yeah.
And it would have looked better.
And he shouldn't have been.
First of all, Kevin Hart never needs to scrunch anywhere. No. Come on now. But
okay, Dennis Smith Jr. had the best dunk.
Which one?
He went left. Remember, you guys were talking about.
Oh yes, the reverse. And he changed hands.
And he can't.
And he changed hands.
Yes, I mean that was unbelievable. It was far better than any other dunk that Donovan Mitchell had.
I thought the one where he did jump over the Hart family as well as his sister was pretty good. I just wish they never would have scrunched down. I do. And the Vince Carter, it makes you appreciate, number one, how high Vince Carter was on that iconic dunk 18 years ago. And then when Donovan Mitchell tried to emulate it, it just makes you appreciate how beautiful a dunk that was by Vince Carter.
Okay, did the new format save the All-Star Weekend?
It did. I mean, look, in most All-Star games, not the recent ones that we've been seeing, but in years past, they usually started to play mid-third quarter and all the way into the fourth quarter and made it a game. These guys actually came out and tried to play defense. There was some full-court traps. There wasn't a lot of – look, you're going to have your Olay defense occasionally. It's an exhibition game. But for the most part, 80 to 90%, these guys tried to get after it. And it kind of showed the product was much better. And we saw what kind of finish we had. I mean, who would have thought that would have came down to a defensive stop as opposed to someone trying to score? Yeah,
I liked it. I like that you co-signed on my idea with the three-point shooting contest. I'm watching you. You and Chris Webber at the end of the Saturday night when Brent Barry said, "What would you guys add?" And then next thing I know, Reggie Aloysius Miller's going, "You know what I would do? I'd get an older guy with a younger guy, and Peja Stojakovic and you." And I went,
"You said this when?"
Oh my God. If I find it, what are you going to give me? I want your Bentley.
That's been long gone, but you can have it.
Oh, the Bentley's gone. Oh, okay. Yeah, but okay, maybe we kind of cultivated the idea.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
But I do love.
Wouldn't that be a great idea?
Yes.
I mean, if I could team up with like Klay Thompson, if Ray Allen could team up with Steph Curry, if Peja Stojakovic could team up with Devin Booker and do team three-point shooting.
I love it.
That would be awesome.
I think it would be great. Here's the other thing. The commissioner brought up this reseeding, or maybe we just have the best teams, first, second, third. And it feels like when he talks about it, that it's going to happen. Do you see that it doesn't matter if you play in the East or the West, you're going to be seeded by your record, and then you just play out the format after that?
Well, you always want to see the best 16 teams in the playoffs. My only question mark will be, how will you regulate the regular season? Because right now, between the two conferences, will more Western Conference teams play Eastern Conference teams or vice versa? So how are you going to regulate the regular season to build up towards that, best 16 teams play?
And having a balanced schedule is really the key for me, that if you can balance it. Travel, not as much. It feels like there's so much time in between games. I'm not as concerned about that as I am a balanced schedule.
And, look, if you get the best 16 teams, because every team has their own play, and as you mentioned, there's no back-to-backs. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 games in between games. So I'm not worried about travel. But to me, how are you going to do the regular season? Because there are some Western Conference powerhouses, and there's some, you've got Atlanta and Brooklyn. What do you do with those teams? Because the Eastern Conference team plays them 4 or 5 times, whereas the Western Conference teams only plays them twice.
Yeah. Talking to Reggie Miller. Reg has got Clippers and the Warriors coming up Thursday night. What's it say about the league that the Clippers and Warriors don't have a representative in the All-Star game?
With Porzingis going down for New York, it was very difficult. You need major market players to be in a showcase game. I can't remember the last time that the Lakers have gone this long without having a player in the showcase. Times may be changing, but they got to get better. You get better, you'll be in there. I thought Lou Williams should have been an All-Star. I thought he was having an All-Star season.
Yeah.
But they didn't think so.
Let me see. What else do I have for you? Was this a big deal about Fox News host Laura Ingraham telling LeBron just shut up and dribble? Was that a big topic of conversation at all over the weekend?
It was, and I'm glad LeBron addressed that, and I'm glad he was adamant by coming up and saying, no, I will not just shut up and dribble, because LeBron arguably is the most powerful person, not only in the NBA, maybe in sports, in professional sports in America, certainly. And his voice resonates, and he does so much. Look, we can criticize him all he wants about wanting to be the GOAT, and is he close to Michael Jordan or Kareem or Wilt, whatever. That's our job, X's and O's. But what he does away from the court and in the community, and what he has done for so many young African-American kids being able to go to school that normally would not be able to, you've got to look at the man's resume. And that's why I hope he never, ever listens to people by telling him he should just be an athlete and just go play sports, because he is touching people's lives. So what she did was make his platform even bigger and kind of made her look, it's Fox News. Yeah. So there's a base for that. There's, obviously it riled up her base, and it riled up LeBron James and everyone else's base. But that's the beauty of it. And, I said this on air. LeBron shouldn't get upset and shouldn't try to, go back at her, because it's freedom of speech. Now, the same way you're able to say what you want about the president, she's saying the same thing about you. Hey, like our former First Lady say, when they go low, we go high. It's validating his platform. And I think that's why people are circling the wagons around LeBron James.
Did you rub elbows with celebrities? Any that we'd be impressed by?
I had the best seats in the house. What do you think?
I know, but who did you want to meet?
Who did I want to meet?
Yeah, or who did you meet?
It was cool having Snoop come by the table. Snoop double OG. It was always nice having Snoop come by. Kevin Hart, well, obviously, you didn't like his opening, but It was cool having Kevin there. We tried to get Beyonce. Of course, we got shut down.
Why?
We got shut down. Well, Queen Bee didn't want to come on.
Oh, come on.
What?
Come on.
Come on what? All we can do is ask.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, come on. Come on, B. Let's go. Let's talk. Right? Come on. Let's talk.
We tried to get Jimmy Kimmel over. How about this? What was funny is looking at Jimmy Kimmel's reaction to Fergie. That was pretty funny. Because I don't know if he was smirking or laughing, just enjoyment, or like, what is she doing?
What about
right
Draymond
now?
Green? Draymond Green's mouth was open. I don't know if he's a mouth breather or he was just like, I'm not sure what's going on here.
I'm gonna go with mouth. But first of all, I'll ask him on Thursday when I do the game. But I'm gonna go with mouth breather. Okay. But you saw the reaction when we put him on. What the fans were like laughing at him. So,
Paulie wants to ask you the poll question.
All right, Reggie. If you were in the Winter or Summer Olympics, not basketball, would you rather win 4 silver medals or 1 gold medal? That's it.
4 silver medals or 1 gold. And what did I do in those other 3 events? I didn't place?
You didn't place.
Right.
Nothing.
I'm probably going to go with 4 silvers.
That's the right answer.
I'm probably going to go with 4 silvers. That shows consistency. One gold is great, but I was consistent over 4 events.
How about you can lose 4 NBA finals or you can win 1 NBA final?
1 NBA final. 1 NBA final.
Oh, by the way,
that's a no-brainer.
we're Shaq and Charles, like it always devolves into Charles never won a championship. But it felt like, you know, with the Kobe and Shaq sit down and then you guys talked about it afterwards, Charles and Shaq look like that they could go. Do you feel
They
that?
always look like that. That's what makes our show beautiful because, number one, those guys are unscripted. They never give them a heads up of where we're going. And Ernie is fantastic as being probably the best traffic cop in the business. But these are 2 guys that were competitors once before, and they love to butt heads. They're very opinionated, both of them.
Who would you take? Who would you take?
In a brawl?
Yeah.
I'm going with Shaq, but don't underestimate the country strong of Charles. Charles is country strong. He is.
But Shaq's the biggest guy on the planet.
Shaq's the biggest man on the planet. So I got to go with Shaq, but
I think Charles uses leverage here, and then he's got, I don't know.
Bad hip.
Oh, okay.
Hip surgery, bad hip.
Okay, you got a better scouting report than I do.
Yeah, bad hip.
All right. Reg will be in Golden State. It's the Clippers against the Warriors. You can tell Lou Williams in person he should have been an All-Star, and I believe. I agree with that. Here's another thing, Reg. Next year when they do the All-Star game and everybody says, oh, such and such should have been an All-Star, and I want everybody to know you have to take somebody off when you say somebody deserves. Okay? So that's where you go, I'm sorry, Al Horford, you don't belong on the All-Star team, or whoever it might be. Everybody can't be an All-Star, but it always feels like we want everybody to be one, and then we don't take anybody off. So let's just remember that next year, okay?
I think that was a thinly veiled shot at Al Horford. Are you saying Al Horford should not have been an All-Star this particular year?
Of course he shouldn't. That's not a veiled, that's an unveiled. Reg, Al Horford, nice player. He shouldn't have been an All-Star.
Okay, well, who would you have put on in the East instead of Al Horford? The team, at the time, they had the best record. Right now, Toronto does. But at the time the teams were selected, Boston had the second best record in the whole league.
I'd have to look at the other guys who were left off.
In the East. Now, the West is a little bit different because, to me, they had more players that easily that were more deserving.
Yeah, but I mean, Al Horford's Al has been in 5 All-Star games, Reg.
Remember when he made a lot of those?
Wait, he's been in as many All-Star games as you. I think you've been in 5, right?
I have.
Reg.
I have.
That's not fair.
Yes.
I would have put in Ben Simmons over Al Horford.
Can't argue with that.
All right.
100%. Boom.
Okay,
Drop the
that's
mic.
That's it. Drop the mic. I'll talk to you next week. Boom. Dropped it. Right there. Just dropped it. Thank you, Reg.
Thank you, Theodore.
Thank you, Reg. Thank you, Reg. That's Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. the third. He's got Clippers Warriors Thursday night. Reggie Miller brought to you by Mercedes-Benz driver's seat. The Mercedes driver's seat. Mercedes, the best or nothing.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.